The BRICS Trade Fair concludes in New Delhi, India today. To boost intra-BRICS economic engagement, the first BRICS Trade Fair got underway here today with over 600 exhibitors showcasing 20 key economic sectors, hosted just ahead of the BRICS Political Summit in Goa in October this weekend. This major trade fair initiative was proposed by Prime Minister Narendra Modi last year during the BRICS Business Council meeting at Ufa in Russia. SABC's Eben Jansen is attending the fair, and he caught up with Minister of Small Business and Enterprise Development Lindiwe Zulu. He first asked her about the available investment opportunities for women within BRICS.
I think that the rise of women participating both in politics but as well as the economy of our countries is of utmost importance to myself, and in particular in South Africa, considering the historical background, which, by the way, is a patriarchal society that has very little to do with race when we talk about this. We look at women in general across the board, and my view is that this is the time for women to occupy the space which they were supposed to have been occupying a very long time. And I think between the three countries, there are similarities of how women are being viewed or taken either seriously or not seriously, particularly in decision-making structures of both the economy as well as politics. I think women are just beginning to get into the right space right now.
Is it a scenario of women have to break through that glass ceiling themselves, or is it more a process of cooperation between business, government and the like to really establish the role of women in entrepreneurship?
It's a question of women breaking that from a point of view, as I said earlier on, that we live in a patriarchal society, and so women do have to take responsibility of fighting for their space. It's an old history, it's to the future, but in the current scenario, I am of the view that it's about cooperation, because it's not just about women fighting for their space, it's also about both men and women recognizing the importance of the role that women bring, not only in the family, because usually women are put on the side to be people who should take care of the family. Nothing must be removed of that, because that is still very important. But also women must then not be marginalized and undermined on the basis that they are expected only to be in the kitchen. So it's a cooperation between women and women's organizations, government, the private sector, and anyone who is concerned, including, my view is that it's including talking about education for women. Are women given those opportunities to study? And I see that in South Africa, the women are doing very well.
As you said, the young women in South Africa are almost outshining the young men it is in schools and so forth. Yeah, your portfolio has come very much into focus with the kind of representation that we're seeing with South African business at the trade fair, the BRICS Trade Fair. We see a lot of small businesses being represented here. That must make you quite happy.
Yes, I'm very excited about it, but it's still very low. If we were to look at the women's side of things, it's still very few women participation, because also we must not necessarily put women in some legal corner. If there are companies that are here, it's also about how much of these companies that are here have women either as shareholders, either as participants in the development of those companies. That's what's very important for me. But I also think focused approach of companies that are owned by women is also very important. And in the South African context, obviously, because we're still trying to deal with the imbalances of the past, we talk about black women-owned companies. And I must say this, I get very worried when people look at us as the Department of Small Business Development and only think we're there only for black women. We're there for all women, irrespective of color, irrespective of their background. But obviously, because we have a historical past that we need to address, you'd find that a lot of our support is on black-owned companies.
Small business is what you talk about. I see a lot of small businesses being represented here. Of course, it's not enough. As you mentioned, women representative and then small businesses being here at the BRICS Trade Fair. But BRICS presents a unique opportunity for small businesses to develop themselves in new markets.
Absolutely. I'm very excited about the fact that, that even the topic of small and medium enterprises and the informal sector is now on the agenda of BRICS. And as a Minister of Small Business Development in South Africa, I think that a lot still needs to be done in supporting SMMEs in the continent overall. But now that we are on the agenda for here, and I know, for instance, tomorrow's program, which will be that of Ministers of Trade, we are also participating as a Department of Small Business Development, because we're Department of Small Business Development, but it's all about trade. It's all about the economy. It's all about people building their businesses. It's all about ensuring that they have access to markets, access to finance, and access to opportunities. And my view is that BRICS presents just that opportunity for South Africa and vice versa, because it's not a one-way process. What we can produce in South Africa, it must find market within the BRICS countries and as well as the other countries.